Convicted felon Donald Trump is not only a criminal, a fraud, he is an absolute buffoon. He is a laughingstock and an embarrassment. So the Pope thing really pissed off the Catholics, right? As it should have. So here is what Trump's response to that was.
Mr. President, some Catholics were not so happy about the image of you looking like the Pope.
Oh, I see. You mean they can't take a joke? You don't mean the Catholics. You mean the fake news media. Not the Catholics loved it. I had nothing to do with it. Somebody made up a picture of me dressed like the Pope, and they put it out on the internet. That's not me that did it. I have no idea where it came from. Maybe it was AI, but I know nothing about it. I just saw it last evening. Actually, my wife thought it was cute. She said, "Isn't that nice?"
Oh, God. He is so repulsive in every way. They can't take a joke. The President of the United States should not be joking, in my opinion.
Yes, but I mean, here's the thing. Not all Catholics were upset about this. The triple Trumper hardline Catholics, if Obama did something like this during the Olympics opening ceremony, they had a stage 5 meltdown. But he does it, and he does all this stuff with impunity. And, you know, this is just a typical time warp that Trump enters where he does all of these things with impunity. I don't give a shit if he's dressed up like the Pope. I don't care if he tweets it. I'm more concerned about the authoritarian play and denying people due process. A lot of this is a distraction to take us away from the diabolical shit that he's doing with the federal government.
Absolutely. And then we have Trump on Alcatraz, but I just want to preface this. He got the idea because Alcatraz is now up on Netflix, some movie about Alcatraz.
I saw even better. It was actually scheduled on TV. In West Palm Beach on a Saturday night that he was there at 9 p.m. Somebody tracked down the TV guide, screenshot it, put it up on Twitter. So I don't even know that it's even Netflix. I think he's just watching, probably took a hit off Fox News, did a line of that, freebased it. And then he was like, well, what else is on? And then he starts watching Escape from Alcatraz, and now he's all into the movie business. He wants a communist takeover of the movie industry, and he wants to reopen Alcatraz.
Yeah, and so here's what he has to say about it.
Decide to reopen Alcatraz. Can you walk us through that decision?
Did I say what?
To reopen Alcatraz. How will you use it? How did you come up with the idea?
Well, I guess I was supposed to be a movie maker. We started with the movie making, and we'll end. I mean, it represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz, the movies. But it's right now a museum, believe it or not. A lot of people go there. It housed the...
Okay, enough. Here's the thing about Trump. Like you said, he's watching TV. Oh, we'll go to Alcatraz. We'll just do it. He's got Pam Bondi on Fox News saying, oh, yes, it's a great idea. He's shipping people off to El Salvador. He's ripping people off the street with no due process. And now his big solution to all this shit is we're going to send him to Alcatraz. I mean, it makes no sense.
But it does. And here's why. Because his whole focus is to scare the base. There's all these criminals. And it's like porn for the Republican base to think about people being locked up. They make this ASMR stuff on the White House website of people getting chained and shackled and put on planes and sent away. They constantly are talking about all of these violent criminals, this invasion, and locking people up. This is their huge play. They keep scaring the base, and then it's like porn for the base to see, oh, they're going to be locked up in prison. So they keep playing this all the time for the base because the base loves incarceration. Another thing I thought was interesting about this is he acts like we don't lock people up. The United States incarcerates more citizens than any other first world country in the world by a long shot. And we have a for-profit prison system. But this is just like all of his moves. It's arbitrary, it's a knee-jerk, it's impulsive. But the prison stuff plays very well with his base because they're very, very scared people. They're very people that are very triggered by fear. And so the porn for them is, ooh, they're locking up criminals. They're denying them due process. And he says later on in this clip, somebody escaped one time and they found his clothes wadded up and there were shark bites in it, which I think is a scene from the movie, maybe.
Right, yeah.
And he thinks that's real. And, a few things we could take from this. Number one, he doesn't seem to be mentally there, but also he sure does stay on point with the distraction and the fear-based authoritarian plays all the time. But if Biden, Obama, Kamala Harris start saying anything like this, that all lose their minds.
Well, what makes me so mad is MAGA, like you said, they trigger with fear. There's criminals, there's rapists. He let out the January 6ers who were the biggest criminals.
He's a felon.
He's a convicted felon.
We always have to forget about that, but it's like trickle down criminality.
Right.
He's a convicted felon, an adjudicated sex offender, a con artist, and he's played the long con his whole life. And he is a white man that does all this shit with impunity. But this is what happens. I mean, it's like we can sit here. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing that. And then I think, 75 million people or 77 million people voted for a convicted felon to be president of the United States of America. Of course, the whole thing is, you know, a complete heaping pile of dog shit right now. We have a criminal running the country that surrounded himself with other criminals and buffoons. And then you've got this personality cult that just, oh yeah, let's lock him up. They snort a line of that while they're watching Fox News. And it's just like, you know, they're getting hard thinking about people getting locked up. And it's just like, number one, violent crime was down under Biden. Mm-hmm. So they're creating all of this ruse. And this notion that the United States doesn't incarcerate people is just objectively, demonstrably, and verifiably false.
Here's another thing. When we talk about stupid, arbitrary ideas, his new film industry economic policy, which he got from John Voight, apparently. Play the clip.
Please.
Can you explain a little bit about how you would implement tariffs on the film industry, kind of how that would work?
Well, that's a different story, but our film industry has been decimated by other countries, taking them out, and also by incompetence, like in Los Angeles. The governor is a grossly incompetent man. He's just allowed it to be taken away from, you know, Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't do very much of that business. They have the nice sign and everything's good, but they don't do very much. A lot of it's been taken to other countries, and a big proportion. And I'm actually going to meet with some because, you know, there's some advantages, I guess, and I'm not looking to hurt the industry. I want to help the industry. But
I can't take it anymore.
Okay.
Are they free markets or not for free markets? And then he wants to meet with everybody, just like he met with the law firms. And this is the short-sighted problem that everybody in the private sector is playing with this man. He goes after law firms. Law firms protect the rule of law. The rule of law protects capitalism. And so the Jeff Bezos, the movie moguls, anybody in the private sector, when you start seeing the rule of law vanish, you're going to see capitalism vanish as well. So either he's for hands-off, laissez-faire economics, we're just going to let the private sector go bananas, or he's going to slowly start taking everything over. And I think we're seeing that he wants his hand in everything. And of course, these people have a problem understanding what communism truly is. But Donald Trump, and wanting to have his hand in everything, is typically the antithesis of what conservatism is supposed to be, which is laissez-faire economics.
Right. Well, he wants to control everything. Maybe he thinks they're going to start making propaganda films about him. And how does he say industry? I mean, what a fucking freak. Okay, moving on. Now he's lying. Of course he's lying about the economy, which this is so verifiably false, but he just says it, and these stupid triple Trumpers believe it. Here we go.
Numbers we've ever had. Just think of that. It's not even possible. Inflation's down, all costs are down, everything is down, other than, as Tristan said, the thing that you carry the babies around in, but that's up 3%.
Okay. Everything is up. Universally, everything is up.
Except for the stuff that carry their babies around in.
Right.
I mean, like, this is so embarrassing. This is gaslighting. This is propaganda. And there's one thing that the Republicans and MAGA do a really good job at is they, on the one hand, are constantly just launching missiles with their propaganda. And they just say this stuff over and over and over and over again until people start to believe it. And at the same time, they keep the foot on the accelerator bashing Democrats. They do both of those things at the exact same time. And what's interesting is right now you see Donald Trump's approval rating plummeting, but the Democrats' approval rating is really remaining kind of static. And people are like, well, why is that? Number one, I think it's because they have this huge media echo chamber, but yet they constantly attack the media. So they walk and chew gum at the same time because they're diabolical. They're like, oh, the media is biased. The media is biased. Well, they control the majority of the way people receive their news now, which is not mainstream news. And so I think Democrats have got to help build a large left-wing media echo chamber, not even left-wing, pro-democracy, but also keep the heat on him at all times, because this is just a classic propaganda of Trump.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you who is making money so far in Trump's administration. The economy's going to shit, the dollar's down, American brand sucks. But guess who's making a shit ton of money?
The Trump family.
Yeah, put it up, Kylie. He's got
Thank you very much.
a new executive
I want
order.
to thank you.
So we're going to be having some conferences next week. I'll also be going to Saudi Arabia and other places. We're going to UAE and Qatar. And some of you will be going with us.
Okay, enough. The point of this is the Saudis are buying Trump coins, Trump stock, Trump crypto by the hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm told, or I've read, his net worth has ballooned.
Of course.
In the first 100 days.
And I saw online, Pumps, that there was a pharmacy, online pharmacy that Don Jr. and Eric are doing, where, of course, they're selling like ivermectin.
Well, of course.
And some off-market drug that claims to treat cancer. So it's really disgusting. But two things I want to say before we close here. Number one, in the other video where he's talking about Alcatraz and sharks and all that shit, is that Goodell, the
Yes.
NFL, and then the
Shame
mayor,
on him.
and then the mayor of DC, and she is a Democrat. And so, he's intentionally, in my opinion, as a means of propaganda, placing recognizable figures and making it using the appearance that they are pro-MAGA. And then he's always seated at the desk and he's surrounded by people. He's really skilled at disseminating propaganda.
Yes.
And they do it at all times. Anytime there's anybody in the Oval, he has the press come in and he does a press conference to give the illusion that the NFL's behind him, that the mayor of DC is behind him. I saw a lot of videos of her cringing, but I don't know what the correct play is. I mean, does the mayor of DC then turn around and walk out, and then you've got Trump, and MAGA all going crazy? What does Goodell do? There's this really weird thing where he is the president of the United States, and there are these ceremonial things that we do as a nation, like he invites the mayor, blah, blah. I tend to think, and I'm just so, I'm pretty gray about everything in life except for this authoritarian regime. And I think you have to be pretty black and white about it, which is we are not going to hang out with a man that does not know if he should uphold the Constitution. Right. I'm not going to walk into the Oval Office of a man that denies people due process. I'm not going to walk into the Oval Office of a man who didn't call out or fire Elon Musk, who did 2 sick Hiles. That's kind of where I think it needs to be. What's your thought on that?
No, I completely agree, because he does. He distorts everything. Like Gretchen Whitmer, he gets her in there to make it look like she's all pro-Trump. Same with the DC mayor. And I think it's probably about the stadium, the new stadium in DC. But I think you have to draw a line, because now we've seen how he's used Gretchen Whitmer. He's going to use everybody in that way if you allow it.
And like Gretchen Whitmer's in this position where, as the governor of Michigan, she's going to need federal funds and federal cooperation to deliver to her voters, because everybody in Michigan pays federal taxes. And so it's I'm not knowledgeable enough on how to handle this, but I think he needs to be impeached, and impeached immediately. But he slowly keeps drawing people in, and he always has the cameras on to give the appearance that everybody supports this regime. And I think that is just a propagandist play.
Right. I mean, he makes Putin gas. Hold my beer, Putin, while you're at your table with all the thing. I'm going to line people up that disagree with me behind me, that look like they're bowing to me, and have a press conference. And like you said, I hate to give him any credit. He's extremely skilled in all this. Stick with us for more news. Hopefully, the news will get better. We're trying to get to 1 million subs.